In the Old Testament, actually in the whole of the Bible, moves of God were possible because man listened. These things came to pass. The miracles, the amazing moves that God did happened because man listened. You know what I mean? Look at Noah. Miracle happened in his family because he listened, and his family was safe when the worst of the world perished. Moses, he was able to cut. God spoke, he listened, and the Israelites came out of Egypt. Joshua, God spoke, and he listened, and the seas were parted, and he had victory wherever he went. Not only those big moves of God, but even the small ones, the individual ones, where God spoke to Elijah, and Elijah listened, and a widow in Zarephath was provided for all the food that she ever needed. Not only in the Old Testament, but if we fast forward to the New Testament, Jesus, when Jesus spoke and people listened and believed what he said, they were healed. I mean, they believed enough. They listened to what he said and believed to go into the river and wash their eyes, and they were able to see. They believed enough to stretch out a hand that was deformed from birth, and he was healed. They believed enough to stand up and walk when they've never walked before, and they were healed. What am I trying to say? Is today we have more Christians in this world than at any other point in time. And yet we see that the moves of God are not very common. Could it be? Could it be that we as Christians we've stopped listening to what God is saying? Or when we listen, we don't believe enough to act on it? Can we? Can we as Christians, and I suppose this is a challenge for us, for you and me, is we take time to seek God's face. At every point in our lives, we take time to seek his face and then listen to what God is telling us at those point in times. And then when we listen, the we have we have the faith enough to step out to what God has told us, to stretch out our hand and touch that person that's there, that's sick, but we are afraid to do that because we think they're not going to be healed. But if God has said it, then it will happen. We just need to act on what God is saying. We should be having that faith enough to call out that person that God has given us that word, because for them that will be the miracle that they are waiting for. To stand up and speak what God has given us, even if a crowd that is antagonistic, but for that word will soften the hearts of many people, and those people will start to follow Jesus. What I'm trying to say is, as Christians, two things that we need to do. We need to start listening more. And then when we hear, we need to step out and do that which God has said by faith. And then we will see more moves of God. And then God's name will be honored more in this world. Deuteronomy 28:2. God says you will experience all these blessings if you obey the Lord your God. In obeying, we listen. When we listen and we obey, we will see things move in this world. John 14:12 says, Jesus says, I'll tell you the truth. Anyone who believes in me, we gotta believe in Jesus. And he says, will do the same works that I do. And greater works will they also do. So my challenge, our challenge, and this is for me as well, is let's take time to seek God's word, to sincerely seek God's word on our knees, on our faces. And then when we start to hear from God, we do exactly what God has said, and trust me and trust him. I know we will see things move in this life, in our lives. We'll see the hand of God move, because he's did it before, he will do it again. God bless you.